Hey, Mr Binks, I know how much you love coming to the Picture House Central with me to see their dog-friendly screenings, and we're on our way to go and see the Barbie film. But before we do that, we're going to jump on Zoom and chat with Amber Pegden, who is the marketing manager for all things dog-friendly at the Picture House Central. I'm Anna Webb. Welcome to A Dog's Life. Amber Pegden, thanks so much for joining us on A Dog's Life.
Oh, not a problem at all. Thank you for having me.
Well, Amber, you're involved very much with the Picture House at Piccadilly, the Picture House Central, in fact. And on Sunday this week, me and Mr Binks and Joe Good from BBC Radio London and a good friend of ours, Caroline Brill, we all went to see the amazing dog-friendly screening of Barbie, the movie.
And how did you enjoy yourselves?
Oh, beyond enjoyment. It was just absolutely brilliant. I mean, I love going whatever the film is, to be honest with you. But tell us why, because you're involved with the dog-friendly screenings, I believe.
I am indeed.
So why did you come up with the idea?
So the idea of the dog-friendly screenings has existed for a long time within the company. I've actually worked for Picture House as an entire company for 5 years now. So during my time, I think this is something that sort of started. Well, I personally remember it coming about around about 2019 as like the a few dog-friendly screenings here and there. But I personally transferred to Picture House Central in Piccadilly about a year ago now, and it was part of me doing my role here is restarting the dog friendly screenings and really pushing the boat out with it. And I think there's such a unique thing to be able to offer. And it's I think it makes the experience of coming to the cinema just that little bit more special if you can share it with your little fluffy friend. So it's something that I've put a lot of time and effort into at Central. I've worked with some external filmmakers who have created us a fantastic dog friendly trailer that we have playing in our cinema on the digi screens and on the screens, and it is on socials as well. And just we just want to really get the word out of how special these screenings are. It's so lovely being we get lots of people coming in, a lot of regulars that come in for our screenings, and we've built up some fantastic relationships with individuals who do come to every single dog friendly screening, because it's a nice way of meeting other dog owners, and it's a nice way of being able to share a joint experience. And surprisingly, dogs are really well behaved in the screens, so that's quite interesting as well. But yeah, it's just we think that it's really important to be able to offer a variety of different things within the cinema, and this is something that, as much as my dog loving heart really wanted this to happen anyway, it's just something that I thought was very, very special, and something that not a lot of cinemas do offer. So and it ended up being that lots of other picture houses across the all of the sites ended up offering more dog friendly screenings, and as as a whole, we've ended up increasing how many dog friendly screens that we do have, and we try to keep them every 3 to 4 weeks. We do a dog friendly screening, but we've actually this month had 2 already. So we did Mission Impossible and we did Barbie, but Barbie was just an absolute hit. So that was brilliant.
Yeah, no, Amber, look, I mean, I've been going for several years. Obviously, with the pandemic, everything, well, couldn't happen. And for me, I just love it because, when I had my first dog, my first miniature bull terrier, when she was a bit elderly, I never went to the pictures because I just thought, oh, look, there'll be something on telly. I didn't want to, leave her on her own or waste
Exactly.
valuable time with her, really. That's the main thing. And the one thing is she wasn't around when you launched the dog-friendly screenings, but she would have loved it, Molly. And
Oh,
my little dog, Mr Binks, he's quite a seasoned cinema goer at the Picture House. And what he really is. And what I love is, as you said, the dogs are really well behaved. Now,
they are.
They really are. And we got a couple of little barks on Sunday, for example, but nobody minds because you're all part of the club. And as you said, it is a way of meeting up with people, going to an event with all your dogs and catching up and sharing experiences. But what really interests me as well, it's the fact this is prime real estate, isn't it? We're talking Piccadilly in London.
Yeah, I mean, it is a absolutely fantastic location. I'm not biased, obviously, but this cinema is absolutely stunning, and it has lots to offer in the cinema as a total. But just where it is, it's just I feel like it just is the hub for cinema. It is the place to go and watch all of your films. And we are seconds away from different parks. We're like a 10-minute walk from St James's Park, and we've got a lot of dog walkers that come from Mayfair, and it's just all together. It is just it's a fantastic location to be able to share the love of cinema with an extended family.
And you've really thought of all the details. I mean, when we left the cinema on Sunday, I noticed how there were so many water bowls on the little corridor as you exit, and the water, you could just tell it was freshly put into those bowls. It was fresh water. You can always tell when water's been there for an hour or so. So it's got like a film on the top of it.
Yeah.
But this was fresh water offered for the dogs, and also you offer blankets because I am right in thinking that your ticket that you buy, it does include a seat for your dog?
It does. So your ticket is you and your furry friend.
And that's extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, it's not only the most remarkable value, but your dog's got the comfort home from home you're given a blanket as you go in to cover the seat, I guess, from dog hair.
Hmm.
And it's something about when the lights go down is what I think with my dog training hat on, that it encourages dogs just to rest and enjoy the relaxation that comes from their owner, because I do believe that stress is contagious. So
Hmm.
when the owner's relaxed and settled, comfy, and so on, then the dog settles and is comfy. What do you think?
Oh, no, absolutely. And it's another reason why we put so much thought and attention into our dog friendly screenings, because we feel that if we can cover everything for the dog owners to then not stress, it then makes the experience so much more enjoyable. With the blankets on the seats, it is for the dog hair. It helps for the next screening so that, if you haven't gone to the dog friendly screening, it's just respectful for the next people that they don't have to then sit among a bunch of dog hair. But not only that, it is a lot more comfortable for the dogs. It stops, any form of, if there's any snacks that just may not have been caught or whatever. It gives that little extra protection for the dogs. It's comfy. We think that is so important, and also dogs are family, and we think that dogs should be treated the same way and with the same respect as humans. So as much as we can, accommodate for the dogs, and as much as we can accommodate to make the experience just that much more relaxing and stress free and enjoyable, it's just everything that we try and put into it. We really do think about it, and we try and give it as much, TLC as we can.
Absolutely. Well, you can tell, but I can't help but ask the question. Have there ever been any complaints? I mean, I always say when I'm advising people with their dogs, you've got to bear in mind every time you're on the bus or on a train, you're going to be fairly close to somebody who isn't particularly dog friendly, which is fair enough. So your dogs always have to, make the grade and be really well behaved. So has anyone ever said, oh gosh, I can't go into that auditorium. There's just been 100 dogs in there.
Do you know what? We actually haven't. We've not had any complaints. I think that we put a lot of effort into our screen cleans as well, and we always try and make sure that no matter what's been in before, you can't notice what the state of the screen was like beforehand. And you know, obviously, it's natural. People do drop some popcorn. People do drop some snacks, and it is completely normal in a cinema to have that. But it is with the same respect and care that we put into after dog friendly screenings. We actually leave a really big time between when the dog friendly screening ends and the next screen that goes into that screen, just to give extra time so that we can make sure that everything is clean, and that, you know, dogs, if they have an accident in the screen, it's also not a problem. We make sure that we clean that up as best as we can before the next screening as well. So it's actually not even noticeable, whoever goes into the next screening, that there was a dog friendly screening in before, because they're always perfectly clean and tidy and left in a good way for the next screening to go in.
Yeah, and I love the social bit at the beginning, actually, because, you know, in your nice foyer and everything. And oftentimes people will have their dog's birthday parties there, won't they?
Yes, yeah, we did have one. The beginning of the year, we've got a really, really lovely regular called Henry and his dog Toby, and they actually hosted they had a birthday party there, and they all gathered, and it was absolutely brilliant. We had a sold out screen, and it was just the most amazing vibe. They did a Tobini Award, which was just fantastic. Which, you know, the dog owner and little Toby handed out awards to all of their furry friends as well. And it was just such a lovely atmosphere. And it feels like something that we've really built upon. And it builds an amazing relationship with all of the dog owners as well, which makes them want to come back and share their time with us. So yeah, we've kind of built up like a really nice little dog empire here.
I love that. And, you know, I just think as well from, you know, dog owners' perspective, it's so lovely to have this offering. And it's just a way of giving your dogs an experience, you know, doing something different once a month, once every 2 months, and learning how to settle and be relaxed. Because lots of dogs can be quite energetic and a bit, you know, oh, what's going on? What's going on? And it's
Yeah.
important for dogs to learn to settle. So it's a way of really building your training opportunities, I think, and stretching dogs' boundaries in a really positive way.
Of course. And it's been really interesting as well, where we've had quite a few nervous dog owners that have come in, and they've been like, oh, I'm not really sure how my dog's going to handle this. And we've always reassured them, being like, you know what, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's not a problem. Um, so just give it a go. But we actually think that you're going to be all right. And we always know that no matter if your dog is the most settled dog in the world or also the most energetic, for some reason the auditoriums have such a calming atmosphere that we've never had any issues and we've never had any problems. And we've had a lot of dog owners that have come out after the screening that have looked at us and like, I've never known my dog to be that quiet and settled, which is quite funny as well. So yeah, we just think that, you know, it gives such a nice you know, a nice thing to do, like you say, with their owners. And it really doesn't matter if your dog is super energetic, even if your dog wants to wander around the screen. We've had a couple of dog friendlies ago, we had a customer that came downstairs and they said, oh, I'm very sorry, there's this dog has been sat on my lap for ages in this screen. And we were like, oh, is it not your dog? And he was like, no, it's not my dog. I'm so sorry, but my dog's actually getting a little bit, you know, not sure about another dog sitting on me. And we went into the screen and this poor dog owner was like, oh, it's mine, I'm so sorry. And it didn't even bother anyone. And it was so lovely. So everyone's just so patient and kind. And I feel like it brings in such a lovely vibe just to the whole screens. And yeah, it's just a really lovely thing to do. And we've also got dog friendly ice cream. Did you manage to find some of that?
Oh, I didn't on Sunday, but I love dog-friendly ice cream. I had a delicious carrot muffin, and we all had such a great time. So we all had a bit of a pastry thing going on, and the
Oh,
dogs
lovely.
were fine. But I love that you've got, and I think you've had dog-friendly popcorn at times as well.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
yeah, dog-friendly popcorn, ice cream, fresh water bowls, blankets. And really, and you're right. I think even if you're in a bad mood, it transforms you. It takes you into a different sphere of just
Mhm.
thinking, yep, be in the moment with my dog in a wonderful cinema, watching a film of my choice. Because
Yeah.
that's the thing, it's not, you know, people say, well, what did you go and see? Lady and the Tramp. And I'm like, no, you know, and it's blockbuster movies.
Of course. I think as well, like, you know, a lot of dog owners, there are a lot that it is just them and their dog. And I think, you know, there's a lot of I don't want to leave my dog to be able to go and watch this film, because when you go to the cinema, you are away for multiple hours, and if it is just you and your little fluffy companion, it does make it harder to leave them on their own and you also be on your own. So at the end of the day, we believe that dogs are family, so it's nice being able to share that with your family. And I think that is the whole point of cinema, is bringing families together, so it shouldn't leave out your dogs as well.
I love it, Amber. I love it so much. I can't tell you. Oh, I wonder what's coming up next.
Do you know what? I'm actually not sure at the minute, but I'm sure that at some point, we're gonna be popping in 3 or 4 more screenings, and as soon as we do, I will let you know. Um, but yeah, no, it's really lovely, and also you don't actually have to have a dog to come to the dog friendly screenings. Did you know that one?
Well, I didn't think of that, because I often don't think of people who haven't got a dog, because everyone I know tends to have one.
Yeah, no, if you just want to be part of the experience and you just want to enjoy the screening among a bunch of dogs, and just have that atmosphere in itself, you don't actually need to have a dog to attend the screenings. You can come unaccompanied by a dog.
Well, you know what? That's actually quite interesting, perhaps from a point of view of somebody trying to desensitize themselves from a fear of dogs. It's called cynophobia. And
Hmm.
for me, going to a screening at the picture house would be perfect for that, because all the dogs are really under control. I mean, as you say, it's remarkable. I think it's because all the owners really relax a few gears and that calmness prevails rather than tension, because you can actually
Absolutely.
exacerbate a dog just barking or whatever by being tense yourself. So I really
Mhm.
think that's one of the keys. And so for someone who's maybe afraid of dogs, I think it would be a wonderful opportunity to see dogs in a different light. What do you think?
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. When I was very little, up until I was about 17 actually, I used to have the biggest fear of dogs, and I couldn't go anywhere. Even if there was a little chihuahua, I'd be like, no, I'm done, I'm out, I'm not doing it. And I used to turn away from so many opportunities. But I do feel like, as I've got older, I actually cured my fear of dogs by being around them and being in the presence of them, and to the point where I now have a dog myself. And I do feel like that this would be a really fantastic opportunity for those who are afraid of dogs, because at the end of the day, they do just sit down with their owners, and they do genuinely just sit still and enjoy the movie themselves, funnily enough. And I do feel like if you can achieve sitting in a room for 2 hours with a bunch of dogs, and enjoy a film together and have that shared experience, you've conquered your own fear. And it is just, a really, really great gateway into getting over that, and learning how to move past that fear itself.
So tell us quickly about your dog and whether she has a favorite movie.
So my dog's called Buddy. He's a little Shih Tzu cross Jack Russell, and he is the absolute most wonderful, like, bundle of energy ever. But will happily sit down and watch a film. um, Honestly, he actually pays more attention with anything that has dogs on the screen. It doesn't bark, doesn't do anything, but will just be fixated on the screen. So he's very funny. He's very funny, but he's also the most snuggliest little thing in the world. I haven't yet shown him Barbie. I wasn't able to attend the screening myself, but I would have absolutely loved to, because he would have loved it.
I know. I loved it as well. It was just, oh gosh, it sounds lovely. I know. What's the Shih Tzu Jack Russell called? Isn't it something that we certainly can't say on the BBC because it involves a word?
Absolutely.
It is, isn't it? Yes. But I loved it that Barbie's dog makes a cameo appearance.
I actually forgot that that existed. I used to have one.
Did you? Did you? Yeah, I
I
know.
did.
I was more into cuddly toys myself as a child. I didn't really go for the dolls and everything, but I really remembered that Barbie did have a yellow Labrador. And
Yeah,
yes, but we mustn't give any spoilers out at all at
absolutely
this
not.
point,
Just
because
very nostalgic.
yeah, and simply everybody should go and see the film. I mean, I'm sure it's being a big hit all over the place.
It really, really has, and I can totally see why. It's absolutely brilliant. It's very interesting watching who goes for Oppenheimer, who goes for Barbie, who goes for both. I mean, personally, I've seen both, and I will keep my opinion to myself as to which one was better. But yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. It's completely fantastic. It's selling out every screen pretty much that we are putting on. So anyone that wants to see it, please, please book your tickets in advance. But yeah, do come along. It is just fantastic.
Oh, well, Amber, I really hope we get to meet at the next dog friendly screening.
I would absolutely love that.
Oh, and thank you for coming on. And yeah, keep it up. Keep it up. Please don't stop the dog friendly screenings.
We won't. I can promise you that.
Fantastic. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, Mr. Binks, let's go in now and catch up with some friends. Joe Good, fancy bumping into you here.
Anna, can you hear? You can hear Myrtle panting.
Yes.
Listen to her panting. She's so over it. She's a mixture of excited and scared, Anna. You know that.
Well, yes. Well, it's an interesting, expedition to the cinema for Joe today because it's the first cinema screening that Myrtle, the successor to Joe's first bulldog, Matilda, has experienced it, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Matilda, who most people who listen to Anna and I were familiar with Molly and Matilda. They were best friends. She died at 13. I could bring her to anything, Anna, as you could Molly. We were spoiled by those two dogs. And Myrtle, who's the same breed, is very sensitive. Now, Anna, you think she's noise sensitive. So I was prepared to walk her down Regent Street to Piccadilly Circus on a Sunday morning, but she freaked outside the BBC. So I popped in a taxi. Once we got here, she's fine because she knows you and she can see all the other dogs. She's sort of calmed down. I think she's quite looking forward to it, to be honest. But, you know, anything accelerating, a lorry going by, she freaks out.
Yes, I think it is noise sensitivity, to be honest, and also a bit of this bulldog. That's it. No, when they get panicked and get their thought processes going in one direction, it's very hard with a bulldog to change their channel of thought. So I think that's part of it. But you see, doing something like this is good for her. And the next time she comes, it'll be easier because she'll know the environment and know the setup, and that level of excitement will be sort of a couple of gears less. But it is exciting. I'm so excited that, well, as Henry just said, Henry Brandman, celebrity lawyer, what's interesting about the cinema series here is that it's not Lassie or Lady and the Tramp, is it, Joe?
No, it's not. It's blockbusters, and it's films that I've always wanted to see. I mean, Barbie, I was listening to Radio 4 just as I came out, and on the Today programme, they were raving about it. They were saying this is one of the best movies ever. The fact, Anna, that we can see a film like this with our dogs, I'm in heaven. This, to me, is heaven. Also, it's right in the centre of London. I'm sure they have other, dog-friendly screenings in the rest of the country. But look what's happening outside. We're at Piccadilly, Leicester Square, Soho. This part of London never ever sleeps, and we're right in the heart of it on a Sunday morning. I am so excited, but also it's sold out. I just thought, when you said you're going, I thought, I'll book. It was sold out weeks ago, according to Henry. But I'm wondering, Anna, do you think the rest of the audience know that this is a dog friendly? Because they had brought their kids and everything. Sunday morning, loads of tourists coming here with their kids, their daughters, to see Barbie. And they've walked in and there's dogs everywhere downstairs.
Well, yes. Well, apparently there's going to be 110 dogs here this morning, which is a record because it is completely, absolutely sold out. So, that's a lot of dogs. But, isn't it wonderful? Dogs have hit the West End. It's quite a landmark, as you say, cinema, landmark location and landmark event.
The black cab driver brought me here, the cabbie, and they love chatting. And he said, "Where am I dropping you?" And I said, "At the Picture House Central." I said, "Because my bulldog is scared of Regent Street." And he went, "You're taking her to the cinema?" And I said, "Yeah, we're seeing Barbie." And he went, "Why don't they all do this?" He went, "I would go and see movies if I could have my dog sitting next to me." I said, "What sort of dog do you have? You'll love this, a Rottweiler." And I went, "Yeah, I don't know if there'll be many Rottweilers here. I haven't seen any. But this being London, there is every breed. I mean, London has far more choice of breeds around than if we're in the country. Don't you agree?
Yes, I mean, the country is mainly, your Labradors, your gun dogs and small terriers. But we've got everything, Henry's, Lhasa Apso. We've got Mr Binks here, English toy terrier. I have brought Prudence, my miniature bull terrier, to screenings here. She wasn't a total natural at it because she's not very good at sitting still. But you see, I brought her here to give her a training exercise to do just that.
Because don't you, I've always said, I'm sure you've discussed this, what I love is when you're sitting behind a tall dog and you just see the silhouette and they follow things on the screen, so their heads all move in one direction. It is hysterical. But also, was it with you, Anna? The very first one I came to, there was a latecomer and we were all sitting down and then suddenly the door opened and in came a Dalmatian, late, with an usherette letting him and his owner come in front of us, and I just couldn't stop laughing. I just thought, this is absolute bliss. Look behind you, Anna. There's a friend of ours, actually, with her rescue dog, Barbara, who was rescued from a charity on our show.
Yes, I know. This is little Babs, the mini Daxi, who is an ex-puppy farm breeding bitch, actually, which is so sad. And bless her, she's really landed on her feet with Caroline, who's going to... and this is only Caroline's second visit to the Picture House Central to do this with Barbara. So again, it's kind of great for socialising and training.
Brilliant, on a Sunday morning. But also, do you not think, usually, you and I know, when we started off and we used to talk about dog-friendly hotels, you were shown to some grotty place out back where they would just let dogs. Now, look at this place, stunning, access all areas. There's no, your dog can't go here, your dog can literally go anywhere a human can go in this cinema. Which is, look at it, we're sitting on plush sofas because all the dogs are behaving. If anyone had exploited it, they probably would have stopped it. Do you think?
Well, it does make you wonder, doesn't it, with some dog allergies, that, when you get into the cinema, you are given a blanket and also a seat for your dog. So, it's extremely good value this day out. So you pop the blanket on the seat, but, surely some saliva or dog hair would be still in the room. So in a way, it is an extraordinary situation. I love it. But it is resting on dogs being behaved and socialised. But at the same time, it's a really lovely event and experience to go to do the socialising and keep the strict boundaries and good meet and greets. So I love it from a dog trainer's point of view too.
Can I also say I love that you're in pink? I know the answer to this. I was a massive Barbie fan. I had a Barbie carry case. I had Ken. I also had Cindy and her boyfriend Paul, who didn't have any genitals. Ken did have genitals, actually. Yes, that's why he was so popular. And Barbie had... Jean-Luc is laughing. Barbie had the biggest pair of breasts you'd ever seen on a child's toy. I mean, unbelievable. But I loved Barbie. I loved skiing Barbie, surfing Barbie. You weren't I know you weren't a Barbie fan because you were quite a tomboy, weren't you?
Well, the funny thing with me was I didn't really like dolls, but what I did love was cuddly toys, of animals. Had a whole collection, seriously massive collection. So I don't know what that says about me, but I was gravitating to animals way back at the beginning and not, playing with dolls and dressing them. I was much happier making, riverside banks with my toy otter and a badger I remember I had a couple of little moles because of... Do you remember the Tales of the Riverbank?
Of course I do, yeah, I love the that's inevitable you would grow up with animals around you, that's you. But I was listening again on Radio 4, apparently Ryan Gosling? Yeah, Ryan, yeah. He only agreed to play Ken, he didn't want to play Ken. I mean, what actor would want to play Ken?
I bet he wants to now.
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, and the money they must have paid him, but Margot Robbie said, I promise to give you a present every single day if you play Ken, which is apparently what she did. None of us know what the present was, but that's what she did. And as I'm sitting here, Anna, just behind you, on that where that guy is standing there, we're on the mezzanine level of the cinema. I interviewed Matthew McConaughey there, and who is like my heart. If he'd played Ken, can you imagine? I'd passed out, to be quite honest. But yeah, I interviewed him right behind you. This cinema is where massive junkets take place for A-list celebrities. So again, it's amazing. There are dogs literally everywhere. I mean, we're so lucky.
We are. We're really, really lucky. Well, Jo, listen, Next step into the cinema screening. I can't wait.
I can't wait. I do hope that Myrtle won't let me down. Mr Binks never lets you down. I'm sure Myrtle will snore through it, which will be a bit disruptive.
I don't think anyone will mind, Jo, and Myrtle's snoring is, like a therapy. It's a heartbeat.
I'm going to go and powder my nose. I'll let you talk to the next person.
Henry Brandman, we haven't seen each other since about June when we were at the Marylebone Dog Show together.
Correct.
And we're now at the Picture House Central for a very special screening that happens every month, I think, Henry. Explain why we're here.
Well, every 6 weeks ago or so, Picture House Central are good enough to put on a dog-friendly screening. So, fair few people from Marylebone, but also from other parts of London, come along with their dogs and enjoy a late morning on a Sunday seeing a major movie.
Yes, and indeed we are seeing quite a major one this morning, which is Barbie. It was even on Radio 4, which I'm sure you heard on Friday. They were doing a little preview, so it's going to be fun. But this dog-friendly boom, if you like, I call it tapping into the hound pound, Henry. What do you think of it?
Well, it's now 6 years ago that the first one took place here. And Toby was here with 5 other dogs. And it really was extraordinary because we were in a 330-seater cinema with 5 dogs, and it was enormous fun. Now, take that forward 5 years, and Toby has had his birthday party here every year, apart from COVID year, with a major movie, and they've been up to 20, 30 dogs. But this year, there were 50 or 60 dogs for his movie in January. A Man Called Otto. And during that, I mentioned that I'd looked at the film schedule for the remainder of the year, and there looked to be a goodie on it. Barbie. Could we possibly have a dog-friendly screening? And Amber, fine lady at Picture House Central, has arranged for that to be done. And my understanding is that 110 dogs may be here today, and it is a complete sellout, and if they'd have wished to, they could probably have filled screen 2 as well as screen 1.
Gosh, it is a sellout. That is amazing. 110 dogs. Because we've got here early, haven't we, Henry, in order to do this. But we can hear vocals in the background. I must just ask who Toby is, please.
Toby is a Lhasa Apso who was born in Herefordshire. And when I mentioned to his shower breeder that he was coming to central London to live and would be going to the cinema, she didn't quite get it at the time. But fortunately, she has come up every year with his dad and other members of his family to watch the screening and understand that it's not quite as odd or weird as it sounds.
Absolutely not, and I so regret that my first miniature bull terrier never experienced the dog-friendly screening, because while she was alive, particularly towards the end, I thought I can't go to the cinema, I may as well watch something on telly, not to leave her on her own. And I think that's the wonderful thing, we can now go and enjoy blockbuster movies with our dog.
Yes. In the first instance, people thought, well, perhaps we should put on Lassie or 101 Dalmatians. And I said, no. And then they said, well, perhaps we should find films that don't have dogs barking in. And I said, no. Dogs are going to behave better than people. And that is how it's turned out. The dogs will generally either watch the movie, or they'll fall asleep, or they may play with their friends. But their behaviour is generally much better than adults who now may come in with chicken and chips or bottles of wine on a hen night. And so far as I know, during the 6 years of the screening, no dog has ever needed to go out because of barking or anything else. And frankly, if there is the odd bark, everyone laughs because it's part of the atmosphere.
Yes, and everyone's got a dog in the room, so we're surrounded by our friends, literally. It is extraordinary, and when the lights go down, there is this wonderful silence. And, because the humans relax, and then the dogs relax, because you know how stress can be contagious. So it's just a wonderful thing, and I can't wait to see the film.
Well, it is so relaxed that at the last screening there had to be an interruption simply because a Picture House Central official had to say, has anyone not got their dog? And we all checked to see that we had our dog, and one lady found that she hadn't. And what had happened is, I don't know, she may have dropped off. Her dog had gone to sit on the lap of another cinema goer whose own dog wondered what was happening. It was all very comfy, but after 20 minutes or so, the lady thought, I can't just sit here with someone else's dog on my lap.
Oh, gosh, that's so funny, because I was at A Man Called Otto also, actually, and I remember not being able to say hi because I had to dash to get to the radio, so it was quite a long film. Brilliant, though, brilliant film. Gosh, I didn't know that had been going on. How funny, how funny.
Yeah, Man Called Otto was exceedingly emotional, and we tend to see the films very early in their run, so very few of us have read reviews, if indeed they've been reviewed at that point. And wow, it wiped out. Happily, the dogs weren't troubled by it.
No.
It was the humans.
Yes, no, absolutely. Well, humans can smell our emotions, Henry, so they know when our cortisol's going up and down, and they will know when we're a bit saddened by something. I mean, mine know on telly at home, but they're stoic. They stick by us more, I think, in those times.
Yes. Yes. It's interesting how many people, when I first mentioned dog-friendly screen, I should add, I am in no way directly or indirectly connected financially with Picture House Central. It's just wonderful. It's a great cinema and has these screenings. But from time to time I say to folk, there's dog-friendly screening, and they say, oh, my dog couldn't go to that. My dog will bark. And I say, no, 99% chance the dog won't bark, or just take in the atmosphere, regard it as a great experience, and you'll enjoy it. And that's how it's been.
Yes, absolutely, and it's an outing, and it's so good to take your dogs out and about and meet new people, new dogs, and enjoy the sights, sounds and smells, Henry.
Absolutely. I mean, he comes, he meets a number of his locals downstairs. I say to folk, come for 10 rather than just before the screening starts at 11, so that the dogs can have a little mix around. They can have a chat, they can discuss what movie's showing, whether it's to their taste. But all good. Yeah. And very shortly, I shall be looking as to what's going to be available in January for Toby's 7th birthday, because we'll want to be showing the blockbuster of that moment.
Well, I can't wait, and I certainly hope I'll see you at one of these before next January. Thank you, Henry.
My pleasure. Very good wishes.
Hey, Caroline Brill, lovely to see you here.
Hello, Anna, it's lovely to be here. Such an amazing place.
Well, I must say, I brought you here in January to see A Man Called Otto, and it was only, not long after you'd rescued little Barbara, who's sat here as well, and I think it must have really blown your mind.
It was absolutely amazing. I mean, Barbara loves watching the television. She's a bit naughty when any animal comes onto the screen, be it a horse, a chicken or a unicorn or anything. She just goes berserk. But she didn't let me down at all in A Man Named Otto. And she just sat there staring at the screen. Such an amazing experience for her.
And the whole premise of bringing your dog with you to a movie, and blockbuster movies, as we've been saying, that's it. No speech. So I love being here, being like the dog trainer, actually. But you see, here for Barbara now, she's come a long way from a Welsh puppy farm.
Definitely. I mean, I don't know how many litters she had, but she wasn't in a very good state when I first got her, but she's trimmed down, she goes on loads of walks, she goes nearly everywhere with me, and this is just such a wonderful experience for her, socialising and having a little chat, as you can hear in the background.
Yes, it's just kind of anxiety a bit, I think, this bark is. Just kind of not quite knowing why we're here and what we're doing at Piccadilly. But again, by the third time we come, then I think this will be a bit less. It'll be interesting to monitor Caroline. That's the thing. It's okay, she is vocal, isn't she? But it's an anxiety bark, not sure. But yes, so I'm awfully excited about Barbie. Are you, Caroline?
I am. I think it's going to be really, really camp. And it's so nice to see so many dogs with pink attire on. I mean, Barbara's got her pink lead and her pink collar on. Anna's wearing pink. It did. Yeah, so I've heard really great reviews about it, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes. It won't probably be as good as seeing Blondie live a couple of weeks ago, hey, Caroline, but...
Nothing will be as good as that. Especially on Debbie Harry's 78th birthday. We sang happy birthday to her. Not just Anna and I, the whole crowd.
Yeah. I know, she hated it, didn't she? Well, she pretended to. I think she was actually quite touched.
Yeah.
Well, Caroline, I think we need to find our seats quite soon. Yeah. Can't wait.
No, me neither. Thank you. Enjoy the film.
Well, that's our show, Mr Binks. What did you think? Well, I know you enjoyed it because you're a seasoned cinema goer. And what's that? Yes, you're right. It is time for Woof of the Week. Even if you think your dog will never sit through a movie at the Picture House Central, don't let this stop you. It's a great dog training exercise and lots of fun. Well, I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, go on, rate and review the show wherever you tune into your podcasts. It really does make a difference. Thanks again, of course, to Amber Pegden for joining us today, and all the links to the Picture House Central are in the show notes. Thanks, of course, to Mike Hansen for all the music and production as usual. And for me, I'm at Anna Webb Dogs. What's that, Mr Binks? Yes, we will be back in your feed next Sunday. So go on, subscribe now. It's free, and that way you'll never miss another show. Bye for now.